Truesdell. I'm going to be the moderator for the call today. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to take a few moments and let everyone else who's trying to filter in make sure that they get here on time as well. I have just a couple of quick questions I'd like to go through before we even get started. I'd like to make sure that I can be heard loud and clear. So if you guys can hear me, can you please go ahead and type in the chat box that you can hear the audio just fine? Okay, perfect. I've got some answers coming in. I got a little nervous there. That's good. Okay. So you guys can hear me. Are you able to see the screen? Right now you should see on your screen the Grade A lead, turning leads into conversations. With a couple of handsome fellows on the front. We've got Mike Kowalski. He's our president and founder of Automated Marketing Solutions. And Mr. Rick Brash, the coach and speaker with the Craig Proctor Production Program. And he's from the House Calls group. Okay, great. Yeah, well, I've got lots of good feedback. That's good news. Okay, so just one moment here. We're going to let everybody else filter in, and we're going to get started shortly. Okay, I think it's now is a good time to get started. We've got our people coming on board. So again, for those of you who have just come into the room, I'm Amy Truesdell, the moderator for the call today. And we're going to be going through the Grade A lead, turning leads into conversations. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first guest, and that's going to be Mr. Mike Kowalski, president and founder of Automated Marketing Solutions. Mike, are you on the call?
I am Amy. How are you doing today?
Great. How about yourself?
Doing great. Just getting ready for the holiday season. Looking forward to, well, I wouldn't say a break with the family. There's work there, but looking forward to this call. We see a lot of people logging in. I really appreciate. I know it's a busy season, but we have a great content-rich call, as Amy mentioned. The Grade A lead, turn leads into conversations, and Amy, we're going to try, I guess, keep this content to about 45 minutes and open it up for Q&A at the end of the call. So you can post any questions on the right side in the chat section. That would be great. We also, as Amy mentioned, got Rick Brash on the call. Rick, are you on the line?
Mike, I'm here. How are you?
I'm doing just great. How are you doing in Arizona?
Great. I'm loving it. It's warm. The sun is shining. The sky is blue. I got flip-flops and shorts on today, Mike. How can you not be happy?
Oh, I wish I can say that where I am.
Yeah, I know you, Mike. You probably got that three-piece suit on, so I know you. How are you, Amy?
I'm great, thank you.
Good.
I'm glad
nice
to hear
that
with
you guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Not a problem. Okay, let's just get on to the agenda of our call. Amy, you want to flip the slide, and today what we're going to go through, Amy. This way. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do today is go through who are the Grade A leads in your business. So we're going to show you how to get the ready-to-act, highly motivated buyers and sellers into your funnel. We're going to where to find them in your business. We're going to show you how to attract them, capture and attract them into your funnel. And then we're going to go through how to generate these conversations and not merely leads, to make them meaningful and live, and we'll get into that. We're going to discuss why conversations are the biggest keys to your closing. And then we're going to get into how to leverage all this call flow and lead flow into your toll-free recorded message with our brand new AMS New Enhanced Mobile Connect feature. So really good topic, a lot of good content. We're going to show you some samples of how we generate this traffic, how we capture this traffic, and what we do to get that live, meaningful conversation. So at the end, we're also going to have a live Q&A and answer any questions that you have. And I almost forgot, we have a bonus for everyone on the call, so we're going to introduce that near the end of the call. So I highly recommend you stay on. So let's get going, Rick. I know we've got about 40 minutes here to deliver some content.
All right, let's talk about the grade A lead, Mike. Let's first of all define, Mike, what we think a grade A, when compared with all the other leads, really is. And I think this is important. You and I have been talking about this now for a couple of months. One of the things we want to get in the habit of doing is really understanding the quality of the leads we create with our lead generation. Now, a good marketer who's running good lead generation, direct response marketing, is going to create requests for whatever we're offering from a whole cross-section of people. I mean, if you look at the traffic that your marketing creates, you get all kinds of people asking you for stuff. You even get other realtors asking you for your stuff because your marketing is that compelling. But there's a contingent of people who come to you through your marketing that you really should get into a conversation with right now, like immediately. And that's that person who's ready to shake rock and roll as quickly as the solution they're looking for presents itself. Okay, does everybody get that? The solution they're looking for is going to dictate, and them getting it is going to dictate when they do business with you. Now, let's also discuss the fact that most of us on the call today understand the value of a lead generation strategy that every single day delivers up people who want to buy or sell with you. And if you haven't started to do this direct response marketing to create leads, it's time you did that. It's 2014. This is what serious real estate agents do. They create an abundance of opportunity in their world, in their lives, in their real estate business, because they run relevant marketing in their marketplace. The prospect bumps into it, sees a solution in the marketing, and reacts accordingly. Okay, direct response marketing. We want to be in contact with those ready-to-go buyers, ready-to-go sellers as quickly as possible. Does everybody see the need in that? I hope so. I hope everybody sees the value in getting into a meaningful conversation with a ready-to-buy buyer ASAP. That's what Mike and I have been talking about now for months. We have been working on this for months because there is a need for you as a really good lead converter to get into that conversation as quickly as you can. So we have an entire system, and you do too, for nurturing leads through the pipeline using your regular methods that enable you to, at some point in the next 6 months, do business with that prospect. We're not talking about that today. We're not talking about your contact manager, your plans, or any of this stuff. Today we want to talk about those people who make themselves known today as a ready-to-go prospect. How do you get into a conversation with that person? That's what we want to talk about today. Is that correct, Mike? That's where we're going with this?
That's exactly correct, Rick, yeah. And all these strategies and coaching and to generate leads, it all really comes down to that conversation and generating that low-hanging fruit, we call it, for leads, and having that perfect, meaningful conversation and have that first shot. And again, we'll get into, if that didn't happen, what's the alternative?
Right. Now, anybody on the call today who knows me or knows what I'm all about is I believe that good marketers create leads every single day, and we should have a systemized approach to getting into that meaningful conversation. I'm a Craig Proctor guy. I've worked beside Craig for many, many years. I've coached agents on how to have that conversation. And I believe there's a great system we can use to get us in front of, or at least in a conversation with a prospect absolutely immediately. And that's where Mike comes in. Mike has been one of our most effective approved vendors for years and years and years, and has continued to supply us with a solution that never fails. It never lets us down. So we want to talk about that today. It's really important that everybody gets this working in their business for 2014 so you too can enjoy that meaningful conversation with what we call the grade A lead, the lead ready to go right away. That's what we want to talk about. So a bit of an introduction there, Mike, but I think it's important that we give everybody a standard that we want to create. And ultimately, with this conversation we have with the lead, ultimately we want to get face-to-face with them as quickly as possible. And I'd rather do that sooner rather than later in the process if they are ready to go. That's what I want to do. And this system today, Mike, that you and I have been working on enables us to do that easily and predictably and repeatedly, and that's what we want to do.
Great. And okay, you see on the screen some of the screens of these prospects, the low-hanging fruit, we call it, in front of you. So why don't we get into the actual blueprint. This is a typical perfect customer lifecycle blueprint that I use, Rick, not just in real estate and in consulting, but in other industries as well. This is basically the business cycle or the customer life cycle. And for the purpose of today's call, we're going to get into the first two steps, which is attracting the traffic to your funnel and capturing that funnel to get that perfect conversation. Again, the other piece is nurturing the prospect, converting the sale, delivering, satisfying that customer, upselling depending on the business that you're in, and getting that referral and getting repeat business. So let's just focus on the attracting the traffic and capturing the leads.
Okay, now this is always where when you and I do a webinar, Mike, we always create a little controversy because we want to give everybody on the call today our definition of lead generation. Mike and I, and Craig for that matter, if Craig was with us today, would tell you we don't believe that lead generation is us as real estate agents sitting at our desk, pecking through the database, calling through the Zs or the Ds or the Ms in the phone book, chasing. We don't believe that's lead generation. In fact, if you look at the lead generation strategies that the best information marketers in the world present on a regular basis, you know, through social media or if you're attached to email lists or whatever, none of it involves us chasing people, cajoling them, and convincing them to work with us. We don't believe that's lead generation. What we think is the best way to create a lead or an opportunity from a prospect is to create a marketing campaign that makes total sense to the prospect's project at hand. Now today we're speaking with real estate agents. So let's define what that means. It means you would do a quick market study and you would determine what's going on locally that's trending and driving your market. How many of you can create a marketing campaign that talks about the local market and presents to the prospect exactly what they're looking for? Now let's use an example, Mike. Let's use a really good example. Let's say you've determined that in your local marketplace there is a strong percentage of sales that go out, that sell every month between $350,000 and $400,000. And let's say in that $350,000 to $400,000 price range, there is a number of sectors performing really well in there. You know, one of my favorite sectors for generating leads is what I call the fixer-upper campaign. How many of you understand that fixer-upper properties are a real good trending issue right now that you could offer to a buying prospect to simply get them to ask you for your list? How many of you run that type of marketing? You could run it online, you could run it offline, you could use classified ads, you could use a display ad, you could run it on Craigslist, you could do it on Facebook. There's no shortage of places where you can run an ad that simply offers to give a prospect a list of fixer-upper properties. Now, when they bump into your marketing, what do they see? The first thing they see is the offer of the list. The second thing they see in the ad, and for those of you making notes, you need to write this down. The next thing they see is we tell them how to get it. Now, let's say that this is an ad running in the local newspaper. It's a classified ad or it's a display ad, which is just a classified with a box around it. And the ad simply says to obtain your free list of properties, complete with pictures, addresses, and details, call a pre-recorded toll-free number, we call that in our world a hotline number, and kick in a 4-digit ID code. All right, they call the number. They like to call because it's pre-recorded, And the prospect thinks they won't have to talk to a real estate agent. And by the way, when you make a solution available in a very non-threatening way, you increase your lead generation, so we make that available. The prospect calls in, kicks in the 4-digit ID code, and they tell us what they're looking for, where they're looking for it, and how much they want to pay. Because we've created a script that's very, very compelling. Okay, that's called lead generation. We're simply offering to give the prospect what they want. All they have to do is respond accordingly. And this all falls under the umbrella of direct response marketing. Now, some realtors in North America have been doing this for years. I've been doing this for years, and I've had a very successful real estate career just by simply becoming a good marketer, a good lead generator. The only reason I run this type of marketing, the only reason, is to generate a lead, simply put. You know what, I know that sellers want to see their house in the paper, and I know that sellers want to see their house in the Homes and Lands magazine. Great, wonderful. We do some of that as well. But the image style advertising that most of us are taught to do is not the most effective means of generating opportunity in our business. What is effective is this type of marketing that's on the screen. Offer to give the prospect what it is they want. They will simply respond and ask you for the offer. Okay, we want you to learn how to do this. This pre-recorded message technology is a stellar way to get a prospect to raise their hand and ask for what you're offering. So you'll notice here in this ad, here's the format that I use for advertising my listings. But what I really want you to look at, click it again, Amy. What I really want you to look at is this, how I drive a prospect who's interested in this house. Nope, one more, right there. You'll notice that at the bottom of every ad that I run, I insert my hotline, my toll-free, pre-recorded message that a prospect can simply call and get more information on the house. This is what we want to teach you how to do. This is what the most successful real estate agents in North America do on a regular basis to generate leads for themselves and for their team. And when we consistently hear that agents are good at what they do but don't have enough opportunity to be good at what they do, it's because they don't have enough leads. Well, there's lots of things you can do to improve that. Better marketing, a better understanding of what you're doing with your marketing, and putting the right technology in place so that we can create the lead from the prospect. Now, here's what else happens. Everybody who sees my ad has an opportunity to call in and request, in this case, the feature sheet on this property for $849.9. But what about that prospect that calls in that is ready to buy a property today, tomorrow, on the weekend for $849.9? What about that prospect? How do we get into an immediate conversation with that prospect without sticking our cell phone in the ad and giving up all semblance of freedom and giving up our life? How many of you like the idea of sitting in the theater with your wife tonight on a date and your phone goes off and you look down and you realize it's a call that's real estate related and you've got to excuse yourself from the theater, run out to the lobby and take the call? How many of you are really interested in taking calls on Christmas Day? Well, I'm not. Frankly, I'm just not interested. I don't want to give up my life to real estate. When I put that hotline in my ad, when I create an understanding for the prospect to get information without talking to an agent, I'm not giving up my time. I'm getting my life back. I'm no longer a slave to the phone or a slave to the business. When the prospect calls, what do they hear? What do you think they hear? Do you think we disseminate everything about that property in the message that they hear? Absolutely not. Remember what I said earlier. This falls under the category of marketing. And I just want to whet the appetite of the prospect so that they will do on the hotline one of a couple of things. Ideally, I'd like them to leave a message behind that says, send me the feature sheet. And if my script has also said, if you're looking for a list of properties in this price range, tell me the neighborhood and I'll send those as well, I want them to leave that request in their message. But what if they're really interested? What if in my message I've said, if you'd like to have the most up-to-date price of this property you've called on, then press 0 and you'll be connected to me immediately. Guess what I want them to do? I want them to press 0 so that I can take that call from the ready-to-go buyer and get into a conversation with him immediately. And that's the technology that Mike has created and has given us to use on a regular basis. And that's how we generate more business over and over again. That's just an idea of how we can generate more business over and over again. Now, Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit more about all the technical side of how this works?
Well, let's just review, Rick. So really, step one is really generating that lead, attracting the traffic both on and offline, as you explained. And some of those ads that we showed, sample ads, where you are creating a motion or a direct response or classify, all driving them to either a toll-free recorded hotline message or a website.
Right.
So you don't alienate the prospect on how they get information from you. So very, very well. So let's get into step 2 or stage 2 of our marketing automation plan. That is capturing the leads. And that's really where the technology piece comes in here, as you can see on the screen, where we have our own toll-free recorded message hotlines that we've been operating for over 17, 18 years with Craig Proctor. We also have websites and branded websites. And what we're going to do on the call today, we're going to actually have an interactive demo so you guys can see how this all works. What we're doing is taking the hotline recorded messages, driving the prospect to that message, and we're going to show you multiple ways how we can get that prospect, that buyer or seller, to raise their hand and dial 0 to get that conversation. Okay, and even if they don't dial 0, have a second chance of contacting you, reaching you. So we're into the capture lead stage, and Rick, what we should do is why don't we just create and Amy, if you can flip the screen to the next slide. We want to just create a scenario. Why don't you go through that scenario, Rick?
Okay.
I think
I alluded to this earlier. So it's Sunday afternoon. Buyers are out cruising around neighborhoods looking for houses that appear to fit the bill in a given neighborhood. They pull up to your listing, and your listing has more than just the typical for sale sign. Your listing has a couple of hooks built in that enable us to get the prospect to react to the for sale sign. And by the way, guys, there's a whole lesson on this that we can teach you, but suffice it to say, let's say you've got one of the hooks on your for sale sign as your hotline. Your toll-free, pre-recorded message that they can call and listen to by simply pulling out of their pocket their smartphone and dialing away. They dial the 1-800 number, and they listen to a very compelling script. And you know, over the years, Mike, we've learned how to write scripts. We have a whole library of scripts available to our members that they can use to make this happen. But one of the things they can do right from the seat of their car by looking at your for sale sign and listening to your very compelling script is actually get into a conversation with you right there by simply calling, listening, and following the instructions you've given them to press 0. Okay, if they press 0, you can actually have that call routed either to somebody on your team responsible for calls this weekend or right to you if you choose to take the calls. So how many of you can see the value? Well, let me do this. How many of you can see the contrast in somebody leaving a voice message in your pre-recorded system, which, by the way, happens 70% of the time, versus somebody pressing 0 who's out looking for a home, who's cruising the neighborhood, because they need to be close to this school or this train station or close to work, and getting into a conversation right now with that prospect who's ready to buy if the right deal comes along. How many of you see the contrast? Yes,
just
I want.
Type in the chat box. Just if you see that, just type in yes in the right side chat box, and we see if everyone is getting what we're saying here.
Now, there's three phases here. I want everybody to see the three contrasts here. They can leave a message and request information. They can press 0 and actually have a meaningful conversation with you and identify themselves as that grade A lead. Or thirdly, the system itself will grab their contact information, will store that in the back end of the hotline for you to look at later, and you can still follow up with them if that's what you're inclined to do. And the information on the back end tells you when they called, what scripts they listened to, how much of the script they listened to. What if somebody called in, listened to your entire introduction, listened to the entire script of the property that they're sitting out front of? Would it be a pretty good person to call back and have a conversation with? The answer is yes. So from something as simple and as proven as a recorded message, we have all these formats that we can encourage somebody to take advantage of. And then once they've left a message, Mike, maybe you want to tell everybody what happens then with respect to someone who might be carrying a smartphone.
Great. A lot of the features that you or callful that you described, Rick, nothing's really changed here. The biggest change is the mobile component, how we kind of integrate the mobile piece into this lead conversion. So what we have a interactive for people that have our property tree, the USP property tree. We have a demo here. So anyone that's got their smartphone handy, Amy, if you can flip the next screen. We've got a number that you can dial in from your smartphone. It's 1-888-471-4953. Okay, so when the call, when that number answers, you type in the 4-digit ID of 1013. Okay, we'll say that's a property listing, and you'll be able to experience and listen to the script as well as see what's really going on. Amy, why don't you play for the people that don't have a smartphone and not going to participate in the demo. Why don't you, if you can play that recording and then flip to the next screen. And what I'm going to do is actually go through what the prospect experience of that lead. Okay, what they're going to see, and I'm going to see what is sent to you as the agent and the owner of the line to get that call connected and have that meaningful live conversation. Go ahead, Amy.
Okay, just one moment.
Thank you for calling the Mike Kowalski Home Hunter Hotline about this awesome home. We will gladly send you a copy of a fully loaded feature sheet of this property or arrange a private preview upon request. To get the current list price, press 0 now. At the end of this message, I will explain how you can get priority access to all hot new listings that match your home buying criteria without cost, obligation, or hassles from realtors. City-style comfort. Enjoy beautiful sunsets over glistening ponds. Custom with all the upgrades you would expect. Private master suite, formal dining, 2 fireplaces, upper level loft just right for your office, plus finished lower level walkout. Tree lined for privacy. To arrange a private showing, simply press 0 now. Perhaps this home doesn't sound like the perfect home for you. You can receive listing printouts on homes that match your buying criteria through our hassle-free Home Hunter service. Simply leave us details about the type of home you are looking for, including price range, style, and location. Our custom software will automatically search out the best homes that match your needs. You will get advanced information on all hot new listings from the multiple listings service, and you'll get this valuable information before most other buyers even know about them. Again, to get the current list price or arrange for a private viewing, press 0 now. To receive a fully loaded feature sheet or get access to listing printouts that match your exact criteria, leave your email or mailing address after the tone. Thank you for calling, and get ready to leave your message.
Okay, that's great, Amy. Okay, so what we're going to go through, we're going to show you what the the experience of the prospect is recognized right now. So what you see on your screen now is what you, the agent, the owner of the line, you're going to get an immediate notification of everything about that call. Okay, the number they called, the number they called from, the actual property script that they dialed, the 4-digit ID, the date, all that good stuff. That can be text or emailed to you immediately during that script. Okay, now what is the prospect going to get? And here's the neat enhancement. Amy, if you can flip to the next screen. So that's what the agent will experience, knowing that they have a lead in the funnel. And now in front of you, you'll see what the prospect is receiving. So we're going to send out an instant SMS notification. It's a text. So we're capturing that cell number after you drive by your home, call in the 800 number, dial the 4-digit property, and now we can create a personalized text message in that link, as you can see in there. Now, for this demo purposes, we've created a link that goes to a mobile video landing page, which we've created. And now, you can put your own landing page in, or you can put the ones that we provide. But what that basically goes to is a mobile video landing pages with all the video, all the bullet points of what you're talking about, local home areas, a neighborhood in your area. You can see that we have 2 of them. We have a Rick Brash a smartphone video, and we have a generic one with Jim Casey. So, Rick, you've used this and had great success, and why don't you just share a little bit how this is working for you?
Okay, so this is something that you and I built, Mike, about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. We saw the growing need to improve the mobile ability that our prospects were wandering around with. I don't know if I said that right. We wanted to maximize the fact that our customers could do so much with their mobile phones, because that's a crucial tool in our box. So we were one of the first, I shouldn't say we, you were one of the first companies, Mike, that does technology for realtors that came to the table with a group of landing pages, all optimized for mobile, that would work in conjunction with our lead generation, with our hotline, with all the things that we know realtors need to become good lead generators. And for the last 3.5 years, we've worked on this, we've tested it, we've perfected it. I've had my sites up and running for years and years. They generate leads like crazy. I have no problem generating a lead from a prospect with my mobile-ready landing pages that we've created. Now, it's not a website with 300 pages of information that's completely irrelevant. No, what we've done is we've created a collection. It's about 8 or 10 pages of the most relevant campaigns that prospects react to. And I'm really fortunate. I have access to a lot of agents across North America, and for years I've talked with those agents about, what generates the most leads? What campaign is the most successful in your marketplace? What's really working for you? When you take one of our proven campaigns and just slightly adapt it locally, how well is it working for you? Well, I've had access to that kind of criteria for many years, and we've been able to create some of the most compelling landing pages and online lead generation tools that anybody anywhere has been able to put together. And this stuff is the bomb. If you're interested in becoming a marketer and creating opportunity through relevant, local, trending marketing, then this is for you. This is a system you want to have working in the background that you don't have to write. There's no code. There's no copywriting. Nothing like that. It's a collection of landing pages that in essence are less branded. They're not all about you. And I just have to say this, that the prospect isn't looking for you. Sorry to disappoint you. Sorry to burst your bubble, but the typical prospect is not looking for agents. They're looking for solutions. We simply present the solution to the prospect. And guess what happens? They say, yeah, I need that. I'll take it. I could really use that report. I could really use that feature sheet. I could really use that collection of listings. And guess what? We send the prospect there we create the lead, and we do it over and over and over again. It's really simple.
And Rick, if I could just back up, I mean, we basically, again, we talked about calling in the toll-free number, the 800 number, listen to the script of that 4-digit ID. And in the event that the prospect does not leave a message or hangs up or does leave a message, this is your second opportunity.
Right.
This is your USP, your universal selling proposition. So we have that text link that we notify them of their phone while they're on the phone, and that second opportunity to go to these landing pages, and we have 8 in total, 4 for buyers, 4 for sellers, which we'll get into in a second. And the key here is that most real estate websites are not mobile ready. Okay, so you can spend all your money online, offline, drive them to the site, and if your prospect can't go through and navigate on your website, an easy way to leave a trail for them to be followed up with, they will go somewhere else. And that's what we've generated. We've a simple squeeze video page that's mobile ready, and we're going to show you a sample of these, the forms that we use that they opt in. If Amy, if you can flip those in. And you'll be amazed by the success of the conversion. And there we go. So we're completing the prospect experience here. Anyone that's been trying this demo, if you call that number and call that 4-digit ID, you should have that text immediately show up. That's assuming that you're not blocking your phone, your caller line ID. And you'll see the Rick's video landing page come up. And here are the forms that they use. Again, it's all mobile friendly, easy to use, and you put in your name and your contact information, and maybe you can go to the next form. And there's just some samples of how it's going to look if you're not experiencing a demo on your smartphone right now. So, Rick, why don't you let's just go over these 8 mobile landing pages that we have, 4 for buyers and 4 for sellers.
Yeah, we interviewed agents. I've been interviewing agents for the last 10 years, working with Craig. And we discovered that there were 4 specific campaigns that created the lion's share of the leads, both on the sell side and on the buy side. So over the course of about 3, maybe 4 months, Mike and I worked on creating landing pages to match up with those most popular campaigns. Now, look, I know some of you aren't used to this. I know some of this language we're using today is not the regular language that you're used to. Think of it this way. You run an ad and you create a lead from the ad. Well, let's not even say that. You create an interest in your ad from a prospective lead. They follow the trail you give them, and instead of it being one thing that they may or may not get involved with, you know, an ad in the paper, an ad in the magazine, once they make a call into your pre-recorded landing page, there's a number of opportunities that present themselves to that prospect. Okay, you throw a net out that enables the prospect to easily get caught to the point where they completely react because the original marketing piece they saw that you ran in the newspaper was completely relevant to their project of buying or selling. Now what happens is there's 3 or 4 or maybe 5 things that happen that enable them to identify themselves, tell you what they're trying to accomplish, ask you for something that you could provide as a realtor, and essentially have a conversation with them and bring them in, sit them down, and turn them into a client. Okay, we're casting a wide net here using technology that's not really super complicated, yet the return here is absolutely stellar. And I started to use this 3 years ago after we built it. I experimented with it. We went through some growing pains. We went through a few little glitches. We fixed it all. And now I can say this, Mike, it's smooth. It's smooth sailing all the way. And I'll tell you, I run, for example, I might run 3 or 4 ads using Facebook pay-per-click over the weekend, and I drive about 80% of my lead generation traffic to these sites, and every weekend I'll generate between 20 and 30 leads from prospects who simply want to buy or sell. Okay, and I've given them 3 or 4 different means by which they can identify themselves and tell me what they're up to, rather than the typical marketing campaign, which offers what? A realtor's cell phone. You see the difference? Knowing what we know, that the typical prospect is trying to avoid the real estate agent, and when you set yourselves up as a gatekeeper for information, you diminish your return, you diminish your results. Here's a scenario where your cell phone isn't even offered. It's not even put out there. And you've got 3 or 4 or 5 ways for this prospect to simply tell you what they're up to. And one of those ways is them pressing 0 on their phone because the script you just heard was that compelling. To find out what the current price on this property is, press 0 now, and you'll be connected to our office. That's just one of the ways. So Mike, this is a wide net, and this is why this is working so well to help our agent members create leads day in and day out.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong, everyone on the call. I mean, lead capture, lead generation, and lead follow-up is huge. It's very, very important that you follow up. What Rick and I are trying to articulate here is how important it is to try and get these grade A leads and get the conversations now while they're ready to act, while they're driving around in their phone looking for a house. And it's the now business, right? And that's what we're trying to generate first. All the lead capture and the follow-up and the steps to follow them is still very important. And again, Rick, we didn't really talk about, once you have them on the phone, Craig coaches you on the universal callback script, what to do with that conversation.
Yeah, that's a great conversation to have, determine timing, determine motivation.
Right.
In 5 minutes or less, we can probably have an appointment created with the prospect. That's not what we're talking about today.
Right.
That part is, Mike, we'll incorporate that into the next call that we have. But the bottom line is if we can get you into that position to have that conversation, guess what? You're on your way to more appointments. And again, like Mike's saying, don't misinterpret this. We don't want you to not create leads into your database. We don't want you to stop the normal lead generation activities you're doing. We want you to enhance what you're doing so that you have the conversation with that good quality lead sooner rather than later. That's what this is all about. And as one of the guinea pigs or the test dummies for this system, I can tell you, holy jumping, it works like crazy. It works like crazy to get the phone to ring.
That's great. Well, we have a lot of the people on the call today, Rick, are clients of ours, and they already have an 800 property tree hotline with us. So let me tell you how you guys on the call today. We have a special opportunity for everyone on the call today, before we get into the Q&A, how you can get this enhanced mobile package. Amy, if you can flip the screen. So for everyone on the call today, there's really only 2 options here. We'll make it simple. Amy, if you could flip the screen, please. I guess.
There's just a bit of a delay, Mike. Sorry, I have already switched it. It's coming. Just one moment.
Oh, technology, isn't it perfect, right? Okay, so we have 2 options. And again, if you're an existing AMS USP Property Tree client, okay, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can use it for 30 days, and if you don't like it, we'll give you money back. So what we'll do, we'll just take your existing number. So nothing changes on how you use the toll-free number. What we're going to do is really bundle in the mobile enhanced package into your hotline. Okay, so you're going to get the lead notification alert to the agent we talked about earlier. You're going to get the SMS alert to the prospect, all in that same call. Okay, and we're going to include 4 buyer or seller mobile-friendly video lead capture squeeze pages. That's a mouthful. Yeah, so we're going to include 4, either the buyers or sellers, all done for you. Okay, we've got the generic version, and all just for $97 a month, which is additional to what you're already paying. So, you're not buying the hotline again. So it's $97 a month additional with a $97 activation. Okay? So that's for existing clients. Now for the new clients that don't have the hotline, the property tree line, we'll include the property tree line with the mobile enhanced package that we talked about above, with the 4 buyer and seller mobile friendly squeeze pages, and that would be $149 a month and $197 activation. Okay, so Anyone on the call that has the line, nothing's going to change except for us delivering that mobile experience, that mobile enhanced conversation to you with the SMS alert and the buyer or seller video squeeze pages. Okay, so Amy, if you could flip the next screen. Now, we've got a special bonus. We mentioned that at the beginning. If anyone, for the first 19 action takers that take advantage of our opportunity, okay, we'll add in the other 4. So we'll give you a total of 8. 4 buyers, 4 sellers of these mobile-friendly websites. Okay, and these are the sites that they would link off from your text, or the prospect will link off to your text. Okay, we'll include 10 property list script recordings, which will do the recordings for your properties at $100 value. And then we've also created a blueprint, and Rick and I are just finishing off now. It's that marketing automation plan that we talked about earlier in the call. We've got a whole marketing blueprint which identifies these stages and the pieces of those stages, and that's a great value there. It's a PDF, and it's valued at $197, so a total bonus value of $394. So let me tell you guys how you can get it, okay? So Amy, you can flip the screen. So how to get started? Well, you can call us, 1-800-858-8889, or you can go to our website at quantumleaphotlines.com/mobile. Okay, I would prefer, probably easier to go online and look at the options. And really, if you go online, and maybe if you could show that screen for the website, really there's only 2 options, 2 big blue buttons on that screen. And I guess there we go. So there they are. So you hit one or the other. If you're an existing client, you click that, and away you go. And if you're not a client of ours and you need the property tree, you click that I'm a new customer. Okay, so I want this new package. So that is basically it. We've got the 2 guarantees as well. We've got the money back if you're, for whatever reason, it's not working for you, not a problem. Okay, so Amy, do we have any questions?
We have had some. Yeah, we've had some that have been coming through, which is great. I'm just going to throw the first one out. Some of them were covered just in what you were saying here. Basically, if I already have an AMS hotline system, how can I get this set up? So I think you already answered that. We did,
yeah.
Yeah, we've got the online version. You can always call into the office. Nothing changes for the actual hotline itself.
Right.
Right. All we're doing is, go ahead.
We should make mention of that too, Mike, that, if you have questions, don't sit there and stew. Call the office, 1-800-858-8889, and talk with Mike's staff. Very efficient, very able to answer your questions, and very able to get you up and running very quickly. And Amy will tell you that whenever I have someone who questions me about, getting an AMS product up and running, I send them to her because she's really good. So I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but when you have questions about AMS, call that number, 800-858-8889, and ask for Amy. Not only is she way better looking and sweeter than Mike, she does a good job. So there's your contact. Sorry, Mike, but it's true.
Not a problem.
Flattery gets you everywhere.
Again, guys, we're not asking you to learn another technology. Basically, all we're trying to do is deliver that grade A lead through another medium, which is mobile, as well as to get that conversation to dial 0. So we're just kind of taking this mobile medium and integrating it into the tree hotline and providing multiple ways for your prospect to call you. And again, if they got to these mobile sites, there's actually a click to call, so they don't need any computer.
That's right.
To do this, right?
That's right.
They listen to the short video. It's compelling to leave a trail or call you. And all they need to do from their smartphone is click to call.
Right.
So if they're on the hotline, they dial 0. If they don't leave a message there, or if they hang up, then you got the text where they can click to call, or at least listen to the video and fill that form out.
It's really interesting, Mike, because the last thing we want people to take away from our session today is an idea that every person who they attract as a prospect is going to call them and they're going to get into a conversation with them. Look, if that's what you're thinking, then Mike and I have presented this wrong. That's not what we're saying. What we are saying, however, is if we can improve
Right.
your conversations with grade A leads by, pick a number, Mike, 10%. If you could talk to 10% more people in 2014 who are ready to buy this weekend, would your income go up? The answer is exponentially. All we're trying to give you is an enhanced toolbox that lets you get into that meaningful conversation sooner rather than later. You may end up talking with that person. You may put them in your database and turn on all the things you do, but what if we can circumvent all of that initially and get into a conversation right now with that prospect? And what if we can help you do that with 10% more people next year? And what if a single commission in your marketplace is $5,000 or $7,000 or $8,000? You do the math. And those are all real numbers that we want you to think about. Because the more conversations you can have with people, the more clients you can create. And for those of you who are still not clear on this, the agent with the most clients sells the most houses. And that's crucial. I want you all to get that. That's really, really important. The way we get clients is face-to-face meetings. Not running across town, opening the front door of a listing, not sending listings because somebody asked us for a bunch. Nope. When you create a client relationship as a result of a face-to-face meeting, you sell and list more houses. That's what we want to help you do more of. That's what we're trying to do here.
Rick, we want to just get into the other type of lead. The lead capture where you're sending out a report or an email,
Sure.
And you're following up to try and get that appointment. And we look at a number. Let's say 100 of those leads come in, and assume that they're all not bogus leads. And what is your average, if you're going to call them back, that you really connect with someone?
Well, let's hope that everybody on the call today, Mike, works to a standard. Every successful business sets standards for itself. So here's a standard. If you're writing notes, guys, put this in your notes. Everybody on the call should be working towards what I call the 10-4-2 standard. The 10-4-2 standard. For every 10 leads generated, we need to create a minimum of 4 face-to-face meetings. And from 4 face-to-face meetings, we want to work towards getting at least 2 of those people to agree to be clients. 10-4-2. Now, it's pretty conservative. When you become good at marketing, when you become good at conversion, 10-4-2 is really conservative. But for those of you that have not established a standard yet, that's a good starting point. And how do you know if you've reached 10-4-2? Well, you track. You keep a record of everything you do. You keep a record of the leads you generate. You keep a record of the traffic you generate between your marketing piece and your technology piece. You keep a record of the people you talk to. You keep records. Good marketers, good business people create their own data. And again, Mike, it's not the subject for our call today, but that's how you know you're getting better at converting your leads. So today's call is about getting you to number 4 faster, the face-to-face conversation to create those appointments. And what if we could get you to 10-5-4 in the first quarter of 2014? There's your 10% right there. That's actually 25%. What if we can get you just a half a dozen more people per quarter next year? Would that help your income? Well, that's what this is all about. It's easy to implement. It's very inexpensive, as you've seen, and it just enhances what you're already doing, I hope. And on other calls that Mike and I are going to do throughout 2014, we're going to show you how to build your business and build your lead generation strategy using technology just like this.
That's great. Amy, we've still got about 4 minutes before the hour, or half hour. Any more questions for Rick or I?
Yeah. One of the questions that popped through here was just saying that they already have a website, so do they need to have a mobile website as well? Can they just put their website URL into the SMS notification?
They can, sure. I mean, That's all personalized. I mean, we do recommend you try our mobile-friendly website, but if you have your own site, and assuming it's mobile-ready, because you don't want to drive them to a site that they can't navigate from. But yeah, you can really put in any domain you like in that SMS link. It is personalized. If you've got your own website, other websites, yeah, not a problem at all.
Okay, look, I'm going to add something to this, because here's what I'm going to suggest. The typical real estate agent website is what? Yourname.com. And let's face it, yourname.com, from what we hear from most agents, doesn't create leads. So here's a system that Mike has built. Here's a system that we've tested. Here's a running lead generation program that's already up and running. And my recommendation is don't change it. Take it the way it's been built. Take it the way it's been designed. It's all created to work for you and create leads. Don't mess around with the program. You can't put a Mercedes-Benz engine in a Ford. Okay, don't try and do that. You can't put Ford parts on a Chevy. They don't fit. Take the system the way Mike has designed it and start working with it on January 2nd. We're going to teach you how to work with this system exactly to generate leads. And if you put your website in there, the chances of you diminishing the result are pretty good. So don't change the program. Work with the program the way it's been tested and proven.
Guys, a good thing you may want to test right now on the call, if you have your smartphones in front of you, is actually go into your browser and type in your website name now, whatever that may be, or branded or less branded, and see if it is mobile optimized and ready. Can you go and navigate through it properly? See all the information you need in a format that makes it easy for you to leave a trail. I'm not saying all of them are not, but I would say a good percentage right now automatically do not. So that's something.
But here's the other question, Mike. Why take the chance? Why take the chance? You created something that is completely mobile ready, that has been engineered and designed to create the lead, that a prospect won't be able to link away from because there's 47 links on the page.
Right.
Just use this system the way Mike has designed it, the way it's working, the way it's been tested and perfected. And you know what? If it doesn't work, no harm done. Call us up. Let us know. We'll try our best to help you make it work. And if not, you can move on.
Absolutely.
But we know you're going to be happy with it.
Yeah, that one thing, one thought when you get to a landing page is critical, Rick. You hit it right on the nail there because of the head. Because you know, having all these options to link off to other links, and you know, you really lose what you really focus the call that the ad took you to that page for, and you know, or link off to another site. So that's why we just target, you know, whether it's foreclosures or first-time home buyers or distress sales. We have specific landing pages and videos with bullet points with compelling content for you to leave a trail in that video mobile squeeze page. Amy, do we have any more questions for today?
Actually, it's just a runoff of the point that you just made. So who does the videos for the landing page?
Well, we have our own, and we showed you two samples, but we can give you links. If you call in, we can give you links. There is desktop versions of it too, but we have done for you videos, generically done. Rick has his own for more of a custom. If you choose that you'd like to do your own video with our script, then we can work that as well. But I would suggest that you test the ones that we have in there now, because Rick's been using it for over 3 years with great conversion. So yeah, the videos are all done, ready for you. All we're going to do
we did some generic versions that everybody could take advantage of.
Right.
And we want everybody to get their head around this whole less branded aspect of marketing. Less branded generates more leads. End of discussion. We've proven it. If the video is all about you, and it's you talking about you and your business and how great you are, we already know that even though your message is pretty good, you're going to reduce your effectiveness with lead generation. So we prepared a system that you can go to market with tomorrow and start creating leads with right away.
Great. Any other questions?
Yeah. Do I have to have a listing in order for buyers or sellers to get in touch with me to use this particular feature?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like I mentioned earlier, you can run a marketing piece that simply offers to provide a report, that offers a list of properties that matches unique search criteria, that offers a list of properties in a specific category. That's the starting point, is understanding your local market, running a marketing campaign that's totally relevant to what's going on in your marketplace, and you start the project of generating leads over and over and over again.
I was just going through some of the other ones here. Thank you, Rick, for that. I was just going through some of the questions, and they seem to be repetitive in the same sense. You know, just asking more about the sites. Do I have to have my own? I already have my own. Videos. Yeah. Anything that does pop up, I mean, if there's something that wasn't answered on the call, by all means, just type it in here or send me an email. You all have my email address, so I'll be more than happy.
Well, here's another question about, are any of my scripts going to be changed or in my current 800 number? As we said, now it's from John. No, everything's still the same on the property tree line. All we're going to do is plug in and enhance capability of getting that conversation using the mobile website, okay, and creating that text, that instant text to the prospect, to the buyer that's driving by the sign writer on that house for sale. So nothing's going to change except for the bump up in price. But you guys can try it out for 30 days, and maybe if you want to get back to the offer or how to get that offer on the screen there. Again, you can call our number 800-858-8889, and or go to quantumleaphotlines.com/mobile, where again you have the two options. One, where if you're an existing client with a property tree, you hit that big blue button, click that big blue button, fill your information, and away we go. We're going to start rolling these out in the first week of January. So you know, get your and again for the first, what do we say, Amy? 17 or 18 people that take advantage of this right now. We're going to include the additional 4 mobile landing pages. That's 4 of the sellers, 4 of the buyers. We're going to do some recordings for you and offer that blueprint as well. So, Rick, I think that's it. I'm getting ready for the holidays. I don't know about you. I'm sure you are.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm ready for a break. Next week, I'm going to do as little as possible.
Yeah. And I thank everyone for coming on the call today. And Amy, thank you for hosting the call, doing a great job on getting us through this and going through all the questions. And thank everyone who did attend the call. I know your time is important and being busy with the holidays. Rick and I, as Rick mentioned, we will be doing other webinars in 2014 to look at the other phases of that blueprint marketing cycle that we showed earlier, all the different stages. And we can really hone in on different stages and how we can help you with the, generating the leads, capturing the leads, nurturing those leads, following up with those leads, converting those leads into conversations, and then get referrals. So we'll be conducting monthly webinars in 2014. I'm looking forward to doing them. Rick, thank you for your time.
My pleasure, Mike. Thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed it.
Again. And I wish everyone a happy holidays and happy marketing. Bye for now.